Well, good evening. I'm Martin Tyner, and I'm with the Enoch Wildlife Rescue. And what you see here on my chest, cuddly with me, is the newest member of our family. This is our newest little Prairie Falcon, and this is really, really unusual. Prairie Falcons have a tendency of having a bit of a personality difficulties, and so why my little friend here has just been cuddling up with me, it's amazing. This little falcon is brand new to us, and we just received him this morning, so he's only been with us for just a very few hours, and he's from the wild. Now I've done something a little different here with this little guy, something I wanted to try. We can get a permit to acquire hawks and falcons from the wild as a falconer, and so many of the birds that I've had over the last many years have come from the wild, and we've flown them for a year or two, and then we put them back in the wild and then get another one. And so the falcon that I had got this winter, we trapped him in January, and we got along fine. He really loved to sit on his perch here in the house, and he enjoyed his time with me. He never cuddled like this, but he enjoyed his time with me. But when the flying season was over and we couldn't take him out exercising more, he was getting more and more stressed. And so as he continued to get more and more stressed, I felt uncomfortable keeping him in captivity. So we were able to release him back to the wild, and he's out there being a prairie falcon and doing wonderful. And I wanted to try something a little bit different, removing a young bird of prey from the nest. The bird's called an eyas. And I've had lots of prairie falcons like this one that were eyases, and I've had prairie falcons like my previous one, a wingnut, that was called a passage when they're on their first migration. And eyas birds and passage birds have their own little personality differences. They have their benefits. They have the things that aren't quite as beneficial to have to work through. And I thought, what might be interesting is, instead of taking a young falcon from a nest that has a big nest full of babies, and this one had I know at least 4 chicks in the nest, and having all of the issues of an eyas baby falcon. They can be vocal, but they're sweet. They can be sweet and cuddly like this, but they can be quite vocal. The passage birds aren't sweet and cuddly, but they're quiet. And so my thought was, let's wait until the baby falcons are out of the nest and they're flying free for a few weeks, and then trap a baby so that it has all of the benefits of a passage wild falcon, and yet hopefully have some of the personality traits of the young one. And so this one has been basically flying free for 2 or 3 weeks now, and it's been hunting on its own, and it's still hanging around the same canyon that it was at with all of the rest of its siblings, chasing around and catching birds and small rodents and those kinds of things. And so we went out and set up a trap station early in the morning, and this little guy came in, and we caught him. And what's really amazing is what I wanted. I really love males more than females. I like their personalities, I like the way they fly. And so he came into the trap station, and we caught him, and we brought him home here, and he's acting very, very much like a sweet little baby eyas baby falcon. I've never had a falcon this cuddly before, and so we've been having just an amazing time with him. He's been very sweet and very gentle. Um, so anyway, we're off to a new experience to fly this new young falcon, um, and I know it seems ridiculous, but here we are with our newest little friend, and we'll keep you guys informed as to his progress, and we'll kind of identify some of the differences between the Ias, which is the young one from the nest, or the Passage, which is the one that's 6 months old on its first migration, and this little one, which is kind of in between the two. And so we're gonna have fun experimenting, and it's just hard to believe that within just a matter of hours that he has gotten so comfortable that he's decided that he wants to sleep on me. So we got a new little friend. We're excited about him, and I will talk to you guys soon about his progress. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you later. And so I trapped Piper here at what you might call a very, very late fledgling or a very early Passage. And so trying to get the best behaviors of both. And I think we have succeeded because he's really, he's just a wonderful little guy. We're having a great time with him. And there we go. He comes down to his toy. And like I said, he's got his feathers there for him to pluck. Now, one thing I like to do is I do want to drag, so I walk up the string, get within a couple of feet. Now I've got his breakfast here in my hand. That's my boy. And we let him have a good reward. Yeah. Such a pretty boy. That. Get the rest of the sparrow, put it in the bag so he never sees me steal from him. Huh. It's all gone. Ain't it? It's all gone. Yeah. And we're going through all the training processes that we go with all the rest of them. Prairie Falcon, I usually fly them for a year or 2 years and then return them back to the wild. Again, about 80% of all birds of prey don't survive the first year. And so with Piper here, not only will we get him through the first year, but once you get them through the first year, then they have like a 90% chance of survival. And so, in essence, falconry puts more birds back than we take, if that makes any sense. But this is our newest member of the family. This is Piper. Now, the prairie falcon is a bird that most falconers don't particularly like to work with. And the reason for that is they are a lot more high-strung, a lot more nervous, a lot more instinctive. They're very temperamental, a little more complicated to work with. This is not a good bird for beginning falconers because of their temperaments and those kinds of things. But if you have the skills and techniques to fly them properly, there isn't a falcon on the planet that is more interesting to fly and performs more like a classic falcon as far as its flight patterns and the way that it dives and its aggressiveness toward its quarry. And so the prairie falcon is just a wonderful animal, but it's not a good bird for a beginner. Yes, this is Piper 2. Piper 1 was a little male prairie falcon, just like this one, came from the same nesting site about 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, and we had raised him. We flew him. He was having a wonderful time. I had a female prairie falcon as well, and I thought, oh well, let's go ahead and create a breeding project so that we could raise baby prairie falcons in captivity and put them back in the wild. I thought that would be a lot of fun, and people would be able to see how we raise these birds in captivity. And everything was going fine. In fact, my female prairie falcon, when Piper One was a baby, would actually help raise him and would actually help feed him and those kinds of things when he was quite young. And then once he was about 2 years old and ready to start introducing him to a mate, they got along just fine. They'd been together for 3 or 4 months, and really hoping that maybe we would get our first clutch of eggs. And went out to feed them, and Piper One was dead because the female had killed him. Again, these are aggressive birds. There was no sign of any aggression whatsoever. They were getting along wonderfully together, but something ticked off the female, and she killed him. And so this is Piper 2. This is from the exact same nest site, but about a sibling that's 5 years younger. And hopefully little Piper and I will, get along really, really well. So far he's just the sweetest little prairie falcon that I've ever had. He's got an adorable personality. I've loved every second with him, and hopefully we'll get him flown through this season successfully and healthy. And if we really have a great time, he and I together, we'll try to put him through a molt and let him grow new feathers and fly him a second year. It's There we go. He gives me about a 1 second notice when he's going to poop. I appreciate that. So anyway, that's what we're doing. Thanks for listening to us, and we'll talk to you guys soon.